Hello, my name is Brandon Ramacco, and today I'd like to talk about sugar. In particular, I'm going to be talking about maltodextrin, but really I'm using an article about maltodextrin to talk about sugars in general and to talk about, let's say, these scary sensationalist articles that are quite frequently found all over the internet. So I'm always doing training. I'm always trying to help my patients. And functional medicine is a big thing right now. So I want to know what the hubbub is about. So I'm taking a functional medicine course. And I received an article from the creator of the program. He says, "Oh, you can put this on your blog or whatever as long as you give me credit." I said, "Okay, that's nice." So his name is Dr. Ronald Gersanti. And I'm going to read the article for you in its entirety, and I'm going to go through some of the points to start some discussion. So here we go. A carb that is worse than sugar, the metabolism death food. Reviewing the labels of foods my patients share with me has shown that more and more food labels are including the carb ingredient maltodextrin. If there had to be one food that's detrimental to your health, maltodextrin would be high on the list. Most people are simply unaware that this dangerous food may lead to increased belly fat, diabetes, disrupts gut health leading to gut inflammation, significant bloating and gas, and increased cholesterol posing an increased cardiovascular risk. What is maltodextrin? Maltodextrin is a highly processed plant-based substance usually made from corn, but rice, potato, wheat, or tapioca can also be used. What is maltodextrin used for? Food manufacturers add maltodextrin to a wide range of processed foods such as artificial sweeteners, baked goods, yogurt, beer, nutrition bars, weight training supplements, cereals, meal replacement shakes, low-fat and reduced-calorie products, condiments, sauces, spice mixes, salad dressings, chips, pie fillings, and snack foods to improve consistency, texture, and taste. 5 dangers of consuming maltodextrin. Number 1. Maltodextrin spikes blood sugar levels. Maltodextrin is a type of carbohydrate that gets easily absorbed and gets into the bloodstream quickly. Because maltodextrin is so quickly absorbed, it can dangerously spike blood sugar levels. This can be especially problematic for people with diabetes mellitus. So it can lead to glycemic index shock. Maltodextrin scores between 110 to 136 on the glycemic index makes it 1.6 to 2 times higher than white table sugar and glucose, making it a major concern for blood sugar spikes. If you're trying to manage your blood sugar levels, foods containing maltodextrin are not your best choice. A sudden spike in blood glucose can cause potentially serious issues for people with diabetes or insulin resistance and can be life-threatening for those with uncontrolled diabetes. So understanding the glycemic index. The glycemic index, or GI, is a number from 0 to 100 that measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar levels. The GI uses glucose, or white bread, as a reference food, which is a GI score of 100. Foods with a high GI increase the blood sugar levels faster and higher than foods with a low GI. Number 2, it negatively impacts gut bacteria. Research suggests that people who consume maltodextrin may have a reduced number of good bacteria and an increased quantity of harmful bacteria. This could potentially lead to gastroenteritis, intestine damage, and a higher risk of a broad range of chronic inflammatory conditions. Studies have shown that maltodextrin increases the activity of E. coli, which may have a role in development of inflammatory bowel disease known as Crohn's disease. A study conducted at the Mucosal Immunology and Biology Research Center in Boston also indicates that maltodextrin impairs cellular antibacterial responses and suppresses intestinal antimicrobial defense mechanisms, leading to inflammatory bowel disease. Number 3, maltodextrin and allergies or intolerances. Maltodextrin is known to contribute to allergic reactions, weight gain, gas, flatulence, and bloating. Maltodextrin may also cause a rash or skin irritation, asthma, cramping, or difficulty breathing. Number 4, maltodextrin is linked to autoimmune diseases. A 2012 study found that maltodextrin increased bacterial adhesion to human intestine epithelial cells and enhanced E. coli adhesion, which is associated with autoimmune disorders. Number 5. It's made from genetically modified corn. According to research published in Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition, genetically modified foods have shown that they may toxically affect several body organs and systems, including the pancreatic, renal, reproductive, and immunologic parameters. Because corn maltodextrin is made by processing corn with enzymes, and the United States Department of Agriculture found that 85% of corn planted in the US is genetically modified to be tolerant to herbicides, it's most likely that the maltodextrin you eat is a genetically modified food. So here are some better substitutes for maltodextrin. Pectin comes from fruits, seeds, and vegetables. Stevia, which is derived from the leaf of the stevia plant. Dates that provide copper, potassium, magnesium, vitamin B6, and iron. Raw organic honey. And guar gum that works as a thickening agent and slows down glucose absorption. So here are some additional comments by Dr. Grisanti. Although maltodextrin is deemed safe by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the truth is that maltodextrin can be considered a metabolism death food. It has no nutritional value, and there are some pretty scary maltodextrin dangers to consider before opening up a bag of chips or baked goods, such as spiking blood sugar and other dangers listed above. My strong advice is to do your due diligence and check the nutrition labels on your packaged foods that you have in your refrigerator, freezer, and cupboard. There's a good chance the ingredients list includes maltodextrin. Do not eat any foods with maltodextrin listed as one of their ingredients. It is simply not worth the risk. Wow, this maltodextrin stuff sounds awful, terrible. How could they put this in our food? This could be the reason why so many people are sick, overweight, diabetes, gas, bloating, autoimmune disorders. My goodness, it could be causing all the terrible things in the world. But can it? Is it? Is it as bad as he says? He has lots of references there. Well, let's delve into this. Now, another name for maltodextrin is D-glucose polysaccharide. Now, glucose is the type of sugar your body runs on, and polysaccharide means multiple sugars. So maltodextrin is a large molecule of multiple glucose sugars stuck together. Now, let's talk about some other sugars for a moment, just for context. If you consume a different non-glucose sugar molecule, your body has to convert it to glucose in order to use it. Sucrose, which is just table sugar, contains one molecule of fructose and one molecule of glucose. Your body can use the glucose directly, but has to convert the fructose into glucose in order to use it. As a side note, high fructose corn syrup is about 50% glucose and 50% fructose, so in terms of how it is processed in the body, is virtually identical to table sugar. So with that context, if you have maltodextrin, which is a whole bunch of glucose, your body doesn't need to process that. It's just a whole bunch of ready-to-use glucose. Now let's get to that list of bad things about maltodextrin. So the first claim is that it spikes blood sugar, and that's true. We are told it has a glycemic index of 120, which is sort of amazing because the scale is 0 to 100, so it goes beyond the scale. Now this makes sense if we think about what maltodextrin is. So on that scale, glucose, just plain glucose, is 100, and we have a bundle of glucose, and it results in an even bigger spike to blood sugar. And that isn't surprising to me. Now, I think this point about spiking blood sugar is missing some information, because glycemic index isn't the only thing to consider when you're thinking about blood sugar levels. Glycemic index doesn't take into account for how much you're consuming. The glycemic index of table sugar is roughly half of maltodextrin. So in terms of the effects on blood sugar, 1 gram of maltodextrin is equivalent to 2 grams of sucrose. Now there's a term for this called glycemic load, which takes into account glycemic index and quantity. we could say the glycemic load of 1 gram of maltodextrin is the same as 2 grams of sucrose. So if we think about glycemic load, if you were pre-diabetic, should you consume something with 1 gram of maltodextrin or 3 grams of sucrose, right? Quantity matters. The effect of 30 grams of sucrose would be 15 times larger than the effect of that 1 gram of maltodextrin. So keep that in mind. Don't think, okay, I'm going to avoid this 1 gram of maltodextrin and I'm going to eat this cookie with 30 grams of sucrose. Oh, I'm being so healthy. So the second, third, and fourth points, you can sort of place together because it's about the negative effects for gut bacteria because it promotes E. coli growth, and it causes inflammation, and these bacterial overgrowths are associated with autoimmune conditions and allergies, right? But if you think about what maltodextrin is, it's just a lot of glucose. So all these negative effects, shouldn't we get these things with any high sugar diet? And actually that's true. Any high sugar diet or high sugar diets that have been studied are associated with increased E. coli infections, inflammation, and of course those E. coli infections are associated with the allergies and autoimmune conditions and some autoimmune conditions. Now the fifth point is that maltodextrin is from genetically modified corn. In this case, I consider this just scaremongering. Some natural things are good for us, and some natural things are bad for us. Some genetic modifications make things better for us, and some might make them worse. Just the fact that something's genetically modified doesn't make that thing bad. Some examples of healthy genetic modifications would be the creation of the modern grapefruit, and grapefruit is considered a healthy fruit, and that was created with radiation. They actually use radiation to cause mutations in the plant. And we consider that a healthy fruit, right? Another is golden rice, which is rice that's genetically modified to have extra vitamins. Extra vitamins is good. Now, what about the case of maltodextrin? In this case, is the genetic modifications having a negative effect? Well, for maltodextrin, we aren't consuming the entire plant. We're consuming a processed product of that plant with a well-established molecular form. Whether these molecules come from a genetically modified plant or not, the end result is the same molecule. So because it's the same molecule, there's no difference between a genetically modified corn plant or a normal corn plant if at the end of the day we have the same molecule that's going to have the same effect on our body. So in this case, this genetically modified corn stuff, this is just scaremongering. This is not an issue. So what did we learn today? Is maltodextrin bad? Well, we learned maltodextrin is a very, very easily absorbed sugar, so it should be used with caution by those who are diabetic or pre-diabetic. We also learned that diets high in sugar are bad for gut health and inflammation, and they're associated with some allergies and autoimmune conditions. Cool. Now, before I let you go, a little bit of extra information. Confusingly, there's another type of maltodextrin called digestion-resistant maltodextrin, which is classified as a soluble fiber. Your body can't get access to the glucose, right? It's digestion-resistant, so it won't negatively affect blood sugar levels. Research actually suggests that this type of maltodextrin is actually good for gastrointestinal health. So, confusingly, right? Nothing in life is simple. Anyways, I hope you learned something useful today. I wish you all the best. Cheers.